are a Donny Osmond fan, we have got the perfect collector's corners for you a little bit later. But before all that, Paul Ross is here with our regression therapist, Andrea Foulkes. Before we talk to them, let's have a look at Paul's regression.
I'm Paul Ross. I'm about to experience my past lives. I've never been regressed before, and I'm nervous. I think if you asked any bloke what past I've really liked, I'd like to be like a pirate. I'd like to be a cavalry charging man going against Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. I'm probably going to end up being a man who travelled in the 1920s selling dirty postcards at the seaside. I've got a lot of bunny, a lot of chat, a lot of front, and I'm not particularly dependable. So I think maybe a travelling salesman. I know that you can in a past life have been a different sex. And I love John Scott like a brother, but I'd hate to find out that I was Emily, the bird he was married to 200 years ago. I mean, because I bet he's such a selfish man and messy around the house. And the work I'd have had to do. And he'd been an inconsiderate lover. And I wouldn't want that memory.
Tell me about your life.
I'm a man. I'm working. I dig.
What are you digging for?
Silver.
Silver. Whereabouts are you?
It's a town. I have children.
How many children have you got?
3 living.
What do you mean by 3 living? What happened with
3 souls living.
What happened to the others?
The Lord took them.
When did he take them?
At birth.
Were they alive when they were born? Yes. And then how soon did they pass away?
Before baptism.
What about the mother of the children? Who was the mother of the children?
She is from the town.
How do you feel about your wife? What are your emotions towards her?
We are rich. And happy. I have taken my wife's faith. I had fallen from the church. I had borne false witness. I had not taken Mass. I had followed the Lutheran. I was Jerome. I took a new name when I was baptised.
What's your new name? Do you remember your new name?
Gustav.
And why have you taken that name?
Because I had a name from Rome and the old church, and I have a new name. We dig the silver and we make the thaler.
What's the
Akim's thaler. The coin, the true coin.
The true coin of where, though? Which great
Of
place
the world.
is this?
Every principality.
Which principality are you part of?
Bohemia. I came from the Low Countries to mine the silver. I walked. It took a month. My father sent me from the farm to find work in the mines. I had 2 brothers. One died on the road with me. Trembling, he had the ague.
What's the ague?
He trembled, he couldn't. I left him, and he, in the ditch.
And how did you feel about that? How emotionally did you feel?
He was weak. I slept in the hedges. I fought for a place in the mines. I was 15 summers. Strong. I killed a man.
Who did you kill?
From the mine.
How did you kill him?
In the dark. He came for me. I killed him. I could no longer dig. My strength is gone on my right side. I have trembling. I'm rich.
What's happening on the last day of that lifetime? What's happening to you then?
The priest is here and I cannot die. I was cast out from the church. 24 summers. My children are not in the church. I want to die.
Why do you want to die?
I'm old. I cannot see.
life liked?
The sun, and the crops, no dead men underground, no water, no soldiers, no silver, no silver. The sun, no silver, no thalers.
In a short while, I'm going to wake you up. 1, 2, lighter and lighter. 3, 4, lighter and brighter. 5, 6, coming out of it. 7, 8, eyes open. 9, 10, wide awake.
Well,
That was like a narrative of a novel. It was absolutely gripping.
Ban the witch!
No, stop. When we saw the clips earlier, he's acting.
I have been hypnotised before, which I spoke to Andrew about, but not for maybe 15 years, and they said I was a good subject. But what was different about this, and I absolutely was not, you know, it took me a while to go under, I think, but because Andrew was also talking about entities and things which seemed slightly too occult, and that disturbed me at the beginning.
But
then
that
I did
wasn't
go
to do
under.
with this regression, because we're just dealing with past
When I've been
lives.
hypnotised before, I've woke up genuine, and you feel very refreshed. This time, and it wasn't, you know, after we'd finished, Andrew said, "What are you doing tonight?" In fact, it was a while ago. I was off to see the Starsky and Hutch movie, which was the premiere that night, and she said, "You will feel tight tonight." And I was cream crackered that night. I've never felt quite as drained. I hadn't had a drink or anything. I just felt really tired.
We
But
had
to-
it
and
done.
and
You had a
that was
headache?
not so much. I felt really like I was recovering from the flu or something. But I was fine the next day after a good night's sleep. But normally, hypnosis is very
have you
refreshing.
seen that? Have you
I'd
watched
seen
that?
little bits that people had, but I hadn't seen the finished thing, and people had mentioned different things to me about, you know, do you mind? You said you killed somebody. Well, you know, I think
The reason why you went to that life was because what we chatted beforehand was we were looking for some reason to take Paul into regression. So he said he had actually suffered with bad eyesight in this lifetime. So I looked for the key to the bad eyesight. He went blind in that lifetime in the silver mines. So
I must say that, I mean, I certainly believe hypnosis obviously works. I'm a complete sceptic about this regression stuff because I think if there's a simple explanation and a very complicated one, you're daft to take the complicated one. And the simple one is, in a trance, it's like a sleep. And I've had this kind of waking dream, and things are on my mind. I'm getting married again at the end of May. I have got lots of brothers. I've got children. We're all kind of a bit money fixated. So in that way, it's almost like acting out a dream and not a past life.
Right, shall we, we'll investigate this a little bit further after this, because we're going to have the regression detective after this in a minute.